The Pan-Africanism movement picked up from the times of Nkrumah, and the post-independence African leaders were very keen at Pan-Africanism. But it got into serious problems very soon, and it was challenged by various issues. What are these challenges? First of all, Africa generally divided into what you call Anglophone and Francophone countries. So you have different influences. For instance, the Anglophones were influenced largely by the British because they were the colonial masters, whereas the Francophones were largely influenced by the French as the colonial masters. Now, the coming together of these two groups was not easy because of the various interests of the colonial masters. So this acted as a hindrance to the coming together of the wider group in Africa. The second challenge that there was in the Pan-African movement is that North Africa is Arab. And while Abdel Nasser of Egypt was very keen at Pan-Africanism, and even subsequently Muammar Gaddafi was very keen at Pan-Africanism, the Arabs themselves didn't see themselves as part of Africa. And it's amazing that even the Ethiopians don't see themselves as part of Africa. So if you want to bring people together and they don't see themselves as unified, as one group, then this definitely has been a hindrance to the development of the Pan-Africanist movement. The third aspect is South Africa took up a number of countries like Zimbabwe, Namibia, where the independence of these countries took so long to come. The influence of South Africa as the largest economy in Africa had a great impact on Pan-Africanism. Because if you want to unite, it's about culture, it's about economics, it's about politics. And the most important unifying factor is economics. The fact that you are all able to use one product can unify you. Unlike when you go into politics, different political systems, or when you go into culture, you've got different dances, this tends to separate you. So the absence of a powerful nation like South Africa in the Pan-Africanist movement creates a very big problem. Here you are with a country that is so rich, with all the minerals, but away from African countries. And that's why you found that when Nelson Mandela was in prison, Africans and indeed the whole world rallied around him as the only person who could be able to bring South Africa on board, not only to African affairs, but the world affairs. So South Africa, being an independent country within the African context, practicing apartheid up to the 1990s, was a major hindrance to the development of the Pan-Africanist movement. The other was the ideological positions of different countries. Look at what happened in East Africa. East Africa, Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, British colonies, but at the time of independence, Mwalimu Julius Nyerere decided to go socialist. He introduced the Ujamaa, collectivist politics, and Kenya remained highly capitalist. And of course, Uganda did remain that. But Uganda also changed. In 1969, Milton Obote, then as president, announced the move to the left. So in the East African countries, you have three countries which have a lot in common in terms of border populations and cultural practices. But economically, they decided to go different ways. So this also created a very big problem in terms of can Africa unite if East Africa could not unite. The other challenge, of course, is absence of a common language in the African continent. You can say English has been a binding factor for many, including South Africa. French has been a binding factor for many. The Arab countries taking up the whole of North Africa, including Sudan, also had some separate language. In Europe, they tended to take up English, French, and Germany. Of course, in the United States, it's simply English. And this enabled these countries to come together. So the differences in languages has also been a limiting factor in Pan-Africanism. That's why at some stage, Swahili was proposed as a language that could enable Africa come together as one country. So the limitations of this And when you add the fact that the colonial masters and the Western capital came into these countries and was able to find better ways of getting these markets and influencing these markets and their governments, then Pan-Africanism could not succeed. This was followed up by the various schools that you saw, military governments taking over in various countries, so the political systems were all intertwined. So Pan-Africanism cannot succeed unless if some of these issues are addressed.